Welcome back to the Gridiron Grind with Andrew and Lance. Life is interesting. I'm in a different location right now in my house because I have a lot of boys packed up in different rooms. One in my office. My boys from Texas are visiting, so it's really fun around here. But we have a lot to talk about. But first, how are you doing, Lance? How's life for you?
Andrew, I'm doing good. We talked about this at the end of the podcast last time, but I finally got to watch the new Superman movie, and
Oh yeah? What you
I gotta
think?
admit, it was pretty good.
Yeah?
Um,
Yeah?
yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought that is not a typical James Gunn film, and
hmm
I think he did pretty good with it. So, yeah,
What would
I
you rate
enjoyed
it
it.
compared to all the rest of the Supermans?
Definitely the best one in the 2000s.
Yeah, I kind of see it similar. I don't know if it reaches the peak of the Reeves ones back in like the 70s and 80s. Don't think it quite hits that, but it competes with it for sure.
Well, I think the hard part too is that this is not the same thing, but I think about the Star Wars 7 movie and how
Hmm.
8 and 9 turned out just ruins 7
Mm-hmm.
for me. So
Mm-hmm.
I think you got to keep that in mind when you're rating a movie that you know there's going to be more.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, because if it has a bad ending, like Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield, the first one was fine. Second one was awful.
Ugh. Yeah. Second was
So I can't go
having a
back and
mech
watch that
rhino.
one.
Come on, we can't have a mech rhino.
Well, the worst part was Paul Giamatti. That Russian accent was,
I think
that
I
was
could probably do a
painful.
better Russian accent.
Yeah, that was painful, man. That was
hmm
really painful. Um,
And I got tickets to see Fantastic Four on Friday, so we'll see how that
oh,
is.
okay.
Yeah. Me and all the boys are gonna go see it.
This is a hot take, Andrew, but I loved the first one that they came out with in like 2004. Um,
I didn't mind that one either. That the second one wasn't all that great, but the
no.
first Fantastic Four, the initial one, that wasn't bad. That was the best one they've made in a long time. So,
Well,
because
what did
that
the one in
reboot they made,
2000
I was thinking, what are we doing here?
what did that one in
Yeah, like
2014 get rated?
11 or something. Yeah, oh, one of the worst movies ever made.
Yeah, that was not good. Yeah.
No.
It had a 4.3 on IMDb. That's high. But Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 9% and Letterboxd gave it a 1.3 out of 5. And
Yeah,
that
that
sounds
sounds
right.
right.
So anyway, it was good to see a competent hero movie made that you're like, this is
Yes.
actually pretty good.
hmm
Um, Especially when you had Brave New World that came out later this year, or earlier this year, and
Yeah. Yeah.
people are struggling, man, missing the mark. But
hmm
anyway, that's all I will say. I don't want to spoil the rest for people that might have not seen it, but
Yeah, yeah. But
I
I
enjoyed
agree. I
it.
think overall, one of the best Supermans in a while. It wasn't
Yeah,
perfect, but it was still good.
yeah, yeah. Agreed. Yeah, and oh man, I just Zack Snyder's their films just come off so
hmm
melancholy. Like they're all
hmm
so sad. And it's just kind of it's weird. Like Superman
hmm
should not be this sad. And
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
so
Yeah,
pretty
I
interesting.
think James Gunn had the characters right. There are some story pieces that I like, but the characters, I think he did well.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. Yeah. So
All right, well, should we get into it? Should we start
yeah,
talking about J.J. Watt, or I should say his brother?
yes, the younger Watt.
hmm
Um, yeah, he got a big new contract. So man, they are all in on this year. Like they're pushing
Which
in.
is weird.
I, let me ask you this question. If you were gonna like say out of all the teams, where would you put the Steelers as most likely to win the Super Bowl? Are they the
Goodness.
14th team most likely to win the Super Bowl, the eighth team, the seventh team?
I don't think I could put them in top 10, but they'd be flirting with 11, 12. just off the top of my head in that range. Because if you think about it, we have, the usual suspects, Eagles, Bills, Ravens, Chiefs. Those are like top four. Lions are up there. Um, Commanders are higher than them. Vikings are higher than them. Bengals are higher than them. Let's see. Then now we're getting to the interesting part. I put the Packers over them. Who else? The Bucks over them. The Broncos over them. Wow, that's just quick off the top of my head. So already 11 teams I'd put over them.
Yeah, I mean,
Chargers probably too, so that's 12.
uh, that's kind of like right in between, but I think you're probably right. I think that that's probably a good spot for him. Um,
Yeah,
I,
that's
I
about where
just
they're at.
don't see the vision. I don't see the
Hmm.
like to me, you just watched last year the New York Jets go all in, right? They've spent
With the same quarterback.
a massive amount of, I mean, but even if it's not the same quarterback,
Hmm.
you got fairly older tackles and paid them huge
Hmm.
salaries, and they weren't awful, but they weren't difference makers. Um, you got a way too old wide receiver and thought he was going to be contributing more than you thought he was. Um, you got a defensive end that you forgot to sign to a new contract before you started the regular season.
At least the Steelers did that differently. At least they signed their defensive end.
I, yeah, it's not the same. I'm
Yeah.
really questioning the thought process. I just don't. To me, I feel like, if the Buffalo Bills wanted to do an all-in type move,
Yeah.
I could see it. They're close enough, if
Hmm.
if McLaurin from the Washington Commanders became available,
Oh, they
and
better jump on that immediately. If they got
they,
McLaurin, they'd be my Super Bowl favorite.
I mean, that would just it would just be the final move of like, okay, they're legit,
Hmm.
they're stacked, they have a great roster, go for it. But
Hmm.
the Jalen Ramsey trade was so confusing,
Yeah, they
and
gave up a good player for a not as good player. Yeah.
well, and the window shorter, like
Hmm.
you're not keeping him after this year. And I guess you could argue, well, it's just this year. That's it. But a rule that I think people don't understand a lot, because it's different in the NFL versus other leagues, you can carry that cap over. You don't have to use all the
Hmm.
cap. I think they have to use a certain percentage. I think it's like, is it like 85% of the cap? I can't remember, but they
I'm
have
not
to use a
sure,
certain
but yeah.
amount, but the rest they can carry over. You can carry
Hmm.
that to the next year. And why would you not do that? Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what I know, Andrew. I'm happy for TJ. He deserves this contract.
Hmm.
He's an
For sure.
outstanding player. It is crazy that he got paid before Hendrickson.
I was going
Um,
to bring that up. I was going to say the one good thing is at least the Steelers are doing it right by getting their stars paid instead
mhm.
of letting them hold out of camp and having this big dispute, causing distractions, which is what the Bengals always do, and then they always start the year out 1-4. You would think they would try a different formula because Jamar Chase holding out didn't get a contract. They started out like 1-4. Now Trey Hendrickson and Shamar Stewart holding out because their contract disputes. What do they think is going to happen differently? It's the same process. I don't get what they're thinking. At least the Steelers, even though we all believe they're like an average team, maybe like a borderline playoff team at best, at least they're paying their studs. And it's not just 1 year deals. This is like, I think he signed with a 3 year deal. So at least next couple years, they might have a more luck on getting a quarterback. But the Bengals, that defense is just horrid and they're not helping it by not signing their guys. It's just bad.
Yeah. Well, and you still got Stewart out there too. That they continue to.
Yep.
I
Yep.
I just I don't understand how they think. To me, with the Stewart situation, you can't change up a contract significantly in terms of the guarantees and not make some
Hmm.
counteroffer. There has to be. something else that's changed. Maybe there's more money up front. Maybe there's more guaranteed money total.
Hmm.
Maybe there has to be some incentive for that person to take the
Yeah,
just
more
like the
more
adjusted bill.
incentives, more incentives. Like you get 10 sacks, you get, you know, an extra $2 million or something like that. That there's ways to spice up a contract to make it better. Maybe not what the player is asking for. Like I want a fully guaranteed deal. Well, we're not going to go that far, but here's what we'll do for you. You do well this year, you'll get more money. That's great counter argument, and that's how these things usually work.
Yeah, I just find it rather interesting, you know.
Hmm.
Also, we'll see how it plays out. I just,
Yeah,
it's hard not for me to wonder, if Joe Burrow ends up with a competent GM, someone that knows how to work with
I know,
players.
right? If he was on a different team, he'd probably have a ring already or two.
Yeah, I mean, it just, because to me, like, what's the drop off between Burrow and Mahomes?
I mean,
Oh,
I would not be offended if someone said Burrow was better than Mahomes. I'd be like,
yeah.
I don't agree, but I'm not gonna argue the point because they're that close to me. To me, I think Burrow's better than Allen as far as just a pure passer. Josh Allen might affect the game more with his legs and his just strength and size, maybe. But Burrow is just such a great reader of the defense and great distributor of the ball. He's probably the best passer in the league. And I don't think that's crazy talk. And if you want to put Burrow over Mahomes and over Josh Allen, all right, that's fair. I think I have him third, but if you put him first, all right, they're all in that same tier, that same elite tier, all three of those guys. I think Lamar Jackson's on a tier below that. I don't think he's quite reached elite because he hasn't shown it in the playoffs, while the other three guys, they have shown it in the playoffs. But he's close. Jackson's close. He's on that borderline. But yeah, Burrow is at least the third best quarterback, and I wouldn't be offended if you put him first.
Couple of things I'm just looking at for the Bengals schedule that I think is just interesting to point out. They finished with the third, right? Were they the third record? Yeah, they were the third worst
They were the
record in
third.
the
Yeah.
AFC
Hmm.
North. But you play the Jaguars because of that. You play the Cardinals because of that, and where's the other one I'm looking at? Oh, maybe that's the only two that's slotted because of that, right? Because the rest is they play the AFC East, they play the NFC North. But yeah, but those two games that could make a big difference in their schedule this year because
Well, going
they
against the
should win
AFC
those.
East in the NFC North, that is insanely tough.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, there's some winnable games in there. The Dolphins, the Patriots, the Jets.
You say that, but they lost the Patriots week one last year.
Yeah. Did the Patriots beat them? Did the Bengals beat themselves?
Well, that's the great point. That's what the Bengals do. I just, I'm just so I love that the Vikings play the Bengals. Like I think it's week three, early in the season when they're still on their struggle
Hmm.
bus, because second half of the year they are a gauntlet to beat. They are legit. They are in rhythm. They are they are just with chemistry galore. They are great second half of the year. First half of the year, not so much. So I'm thrilled that we got the Bengals at home third week of the year.
So let me put this way. How would you allocate blame? How much blame goes to Taylor? How much
Mm.
blame goes to ownership? How much blame goes to front office,
Ooh, that's a
players?
great question. Um, I would go owner first because who wants to work well with a terrible owner? I would go GM second because he's not getting these contracts signed and not getting the right talent in there. Then I would go coach third because he's not getting his guys prepared enough for these distractions that aren't his fault, but it's his job to get them ready. And in the first half of the year, they aren't. And then I would go players because the players got to do the stuff on the field. That's where I would put it. Because I don't
I'd
really
agree
see the
with that.
players making mistakes on the field. It's just they're either the right players aren't there or they're not ready. They're not prepared, which is on the coaching staff.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I mean, I think putting Mike Brown at number one, it makes the most sense because it's well known that he is not funneling money to the players unless
Hmm.
he's 100% covered and not really paying for their salaries. Um, and then Duke Tobin, I think, yeah, I agree with that. I just was curious because I know that you're not a big Taylor guy. So,
I'm not, and it's mainly because of those slow starts. And again, I know it's a lot of it's not his fault, but good coaches figure it out. And he hasn't shown that he can. He's gotten to a Super Bowl. That's awesome. But when you have a generational quarterback, you should have a lot of success. And he really hasn't. He's been to one Super Bowl, few playoff wins, some regular season success, but he's off to slow starts all the time. And the slow starts mainly are on him because he's not preparing the team. Is it fair because there's lots of distractions, lots of player issues? No, but the preparation is on him.
hmm. I just the part I struggle with that is that Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, them holding out, them or holding in, I guess is really kind of more of some of the issues at play. But
But
um,
Jamar Chase did play week one though last year.
he did. It's just so hard if a player's not 100% focused, you can't force him to be focused.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. But you have to adjust. And if you're losing to the Ravens and to the Bills and to the Chiefs the first few games of the year, that's tough. When you lose to the Patriots, that's on the coach.
That certainly was a winnable game. Uh,
Yes, even without Jamar Chase, you should win that game.
Now, I think the better argument that I would make, Andrew, from your position is you win that game, you're in the playoffs.
100% right. 100%
That's
right.
that's that's where I think it really comes down to.
Hmm.
And
And if the Bengals got in the playoffs last year, mm, I don't know what would have happened. They might have knocked off a Chiefs or a Bills or a Ravens. They had that potential.
well, the part that'd be interesting is and I don't know because I haven't followed Taylor's interview as much, but I think it'd be worth it for a reporter to ask him, why do you have such a better track record in the second half of the year than this first half? And I don't feel like
Hmm.
people focus on that. One part I'd say that's disappointing to me by Cincinnati media is I don't know how it is in Minnesota, but Philadelphia reporters ask the tough questions for the national media. And
Hmm.
I don't feel like that happens everywhere. I think some
Hmm.
regional media will protect their coach, insulate them. Um,
Hmm.
and I'm not saying that they're not doing their jobs. I'm just saying that some people get too worried about being harsh, and that's not what you need to do as a reporter. You just need to report.
Yeah.
You need to ask the
Yeah.
hard questions, put them in corners, make sure they're really thinking about their answers because, they're making big decisions. And if a fan wants to go spend, I mean, realistically, $600 probably for a family of three at least, that's a big investment.
Hmm.
You'd like to know what
What they're
people are
doing
doing.
to help the team out. So a
Yeah.
good experience.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah, well,
It's a
we'll
good
see how it turns
question.
out for the Bengals, but yeah, definitely continues. So, AFC North, man, it's just such a weird division right now.
I know. They got two legit teams. Um, well, kind of legit teams. One legit, one kind of legit in the Bengals. And then one bottom feeder. And then one we're not so sure about. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Well, should we move on to Mr. Levi Onwuzurike of the Detroit Lions? Because, man, I don't know if it's just really, really bad luck or if there is something, because there's been some rumblings, the reason why the Lions have so many injuries. Is it they practice too hard? I don't know, but it doesn't seem like it's a coincidence that last year they had like 20 players on IR on defense at one point. And now their best defensive tackle just had a surgery on his ACL and he's going to be out for the year. And I don't know. It could be a coincidence, but it seems strange that it's so many players on defense are getting hurt. And this hurts their team. Their D line was pretty good, decent depth, but without him, they have to rely on their rookie they drafted, who could be great. He could be great. I think it was Mikael Williams. He could be great, or he could be just average, like a lot of draft picks are. Usually you get the great draft picks like 10% of the time, and a lot of times there's just usable pieces. If he's a usable piece, their D line is going to struggle because Levi was a great defensive tackle. And if they don't replace that with greatness, that's going to be difficult to overcome. And they already had their center retire. They already had their right guard move on. I think Zeitler's with the Titans right now. And they had to draft offensive linemen who again, could be great or they could just be fine. I don't know. I don't know, man. It sucked. I don't wish injuries on anybody. It sucks, but this injury does make the Lions worse. How worse? I don't know. Is it one game worse? Maybe. But they aren't as good of a team. And I think their grasp on the lead of the North is dwindling away with every passing day because they already lost their coordinators, which is, as you know, as an Eagles fan, what, 2 years ago, how that was difficult to adjust to. And the Lions are going through the same thing. And I don't think the Lions had as good of a team as the Eagles had 2 years ago. I think they have a good team, but not an elite team. They were elite because of their coaching, and they might not have that this year. And now they have a lot of injuries and retirements. I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to think about it, but I might just full on predict they don't win the division. I don't know if I could predict the Vikings win it because of my bias a little bit there. But I don't know if I'm gonna be confident in them winning the division with all this stuff going on because there's a lot. And if you look at their schedule, my goodness, I know the Vikings and the Lions have basically the same schedule. The main difference is the tough, really good opponents Vikings have at home, Lions have away. And it's pretty much across the board that exact thing. Like the Eagles, Ravens, Bengals, Chargers. Of course, we play the Lions at home once, but those main four right there, pretty much all those for the Minnesota are at home. All those for Lions are away. And I think they also play at the Chiefs. It's just, it's, I don't know, man. I don't think they win on this division, and I don't think I can go as far as they miss the playoffs, but all I'll say is that wouldn't completely shock me.
It's fair.
And I'll
That's
leave it
fair.
at that.
Well, I mean, it's really hard to know what's going to be right now. It's so early.
Hmm. Right.
And if I remember right, and wasn't he injured last year? Am I remembering that right?
I think so. I think he missed some time because from basically their whole defense missed some time. But I think he did come back for the playoffs. I think he was available because I think he played against Minnesota that Week 18 game, and he was causing all kinds of havoc.
Yeah, he did
I
miss last
think,
year.
or it might have been McNeil. I'm not sure.
I'm just trying to remember when.
And they just signed him to a big deal
Yeah, they sure
because he was
did.
a hot free agent that everyone was looking at, and the Lions re-signed him, which was good, smart move. He's a good player.
Well, I guess he had an injury in 3 years, or in his first 3 years that he was dealing with. But yeah, I don't know. I just it's hard to say at this point. The tough part is that some people are just injury prone. They just
That's
are
true.
prone to
Yeah.
certain soft tissue injuries. They might be highly talented. Um,
Hmm.
Perfect person I'm thinking of for that is Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah.
Incredible athlete, incredible player.
I got
But
a I got a thought in mind too. A defensive player, Marcus Davenport.
mm,
He has all the tools, all the physical tools to be elite, but he can't stay on the field. He just can't do it. And he is actually on the Lions right now, you know, ironically enough. Because Minnesota had him 2 years ago and he played like 3 games. The 3 games he played, he had a lot of pressures. He was doing really well, but he played like 3 games. He's just always nicked up.
Well, yeah, it's definitely it's a tough issue. But that's the hard part is that, as a GM, you have to
Hmm.
evaluate how realistic is it this person's going to stay on the field? How realistic is it that they will be available? I mean,
Hmm.
it's unfair to
And then
JJ
what's the offer you
McCarthy,
give him for that?
but this question of how injury prone will he be is going to be there for forever because of this first injury. And it's an unusual
I
injury.
think
It's not a highly
on the
repeatable
outside
injury.
looking in, yeah, for sure. And I think on the outside looking in, you're 100% right. But people in the know, this is the only injury he's had his whole career. And it was one where they could have chosen the 2 month recovery and he'd been fine. But they went with the full replace everything in his meniscus. That way he is stronger than before. So it's not very repeatable and it's fair to consider, is he going to be injury prone? That's fine, absolutely. But that's more on the outside looking in. But on the inside, in the team organization, there's no concerns because he's not shown any injury history his entire career. This was the first time. And Minnesota chose to shut him down for the year and give the full replacement other than the partial repair, which probably would have been completely fine and he could have played last year. So
Right. I guess my
that's what I would
point
say
is
to that.
is that if he gets another injury, right? Like this year, if he gets another injury,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a different
Yeah.
story. Um,
For sure.
because
For sure.
like Carson Wentz, before the torn ACL, there was no injury issue for the Eagles, for example, but then he had a back issue and it's a
Mm-hmm.
concussion and it just kind of stumbles down from there. I guess my thing is that,
Mm-hmm.
things can build up, but they can also build down. They can weigh you down.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm going to be monitoring as far as for McCarthy. I'm not saying I expect that, but I do think it's a possibility. It's out there. It can happen. So it'll be interesting to see what happens for him. But yeah, I don't know. One thing I do know that the Eagles do is injury on the or interesting on the injury front is I think if I remember right, it's every third day they make sure to take it easy on their veteran players because they're finding that it's on the third
Mm-hmm.
day of intense activity that is when the soft tissue injuries are occurring, and that's interesting.
Yeah.
Um, it's not. I don't think it's a fail-safe option where like now you're not going to have to deal with any injuries, but I do think
Mm-hmm.
it can help mitigate. I mean, the Eagles,
Anything that you could do to help is very important. Yeah.
well, I mean, both times the Eagles went to the Super Bowl, they were fairly healthy. They were in
Mm-hmm.
good shape. You could look at that as coincidence, but
Oh no, it's not a coincidence at all. Usually the team that
mhm,
survives is the team that makes it to the Super Bowl. Because there's at least 10 teams that are very talented that if they made it, you wouldn't be surprised. You'd be like, well, what, how did that happen? You'd be like, oh, okay, I wouldn't have predicted that, but okay. And it's probably because they were the healthier team than the
mhm,
team they were playing. That's
yeah,
totally fair.
yeah. So, um, yeah, we'll see how it pans out. So, um, tough week for the Lions.
Yeah.
Um, they just cannot seem to catch a break. I mean, to lose
Hmm.
Ragno or Frank at the beginning of the offseason.
Yep.
Now, well, the other part too, I'm trying to think about is um, how much they can expect um, from Aiden Hutchinson this year.
Yeah, all the reports are saying that he is 100% same guy, but those are reports, and of course, reports are going to be on the positive side. So I would agree with that. When he is healthy, he is top 5 on
Mhm.
like defensive end. And I mean, me as a Vikings fan, I hate saying that, but I can't really argue it because he is just really good. But is he 100% Aiden Hutchinson or is he 80% Aiden Hutchinson? There's a big difference. If he's 80% Aiden Hutchinson, then there's like 15 of those in the league. If he's 100% Aiden Hutchinson, there's like 2 of those. So It's we'll see
Yeah.
what happens.
Well, and it's just injuries are tough to come back from. And
Especially big ones. Yeah. I mean, look at great example for the Vikings, TJ Hawkinson last year. Tore his ACL, MCL, all that stuff the year before. He came back and he didn't really do much. This year is going to be interesting. I think TJ Hawkinson might have a sneaky good year, and that's because he's had a year removed from his really devastating knee injury.
I mean, TJ Hawkinson still had 455 yards and I think played literally half the season.
Yeah, I think he came back week 9, like week 8 or week 9, something like that.
That's that's really good.
And I know we play against each other in a lot of fantasy football, but I'm just saying, JJ McCarthy loves himself a big tight end over the middle. And TJ Hawkinson's healthy, and I don't know. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
I
no, it's
wouldn't be
that's fair.
surprised if Hawkinson's top 4, top 3 tight end this year.
Well, I also don't think that Sam Darnold and TJ Hawkinson were a good mix. I don't think that
They didn't
they
have good chemistry. They didn't have good chemistry because Sam Darnold's more of a guy that him and JJ McCarthy are kind of opposite as far as how they throw the ball. Sam Darnold had a beautiful deep ball, like that deep ball over the middle to Jefferson against the Niners when he was in the end zone on like the 1 yard line. He just darted like a 98-yard touchdown. That was a perfect, beautiful pass. That's Sam Darnold. When it's timing and over the middle and understanding when to throw it against the defense, he is not great. Sam Darnold is at the intermediate over the middle throws. It's the opposite with McCarthy. He is amazing at over the middle and intermediate. It's the down the field bombs he has to improve on, which if I had to choose, I want the timing. I want the you're going to throw this pass 20 times, maybe the bomb 4 times. I'd rather the 20 times be more accurate than the D bomb. D bomb's exciting, but you're only throwing those a handful of times a game. You're throwing the check downs, the intermediate 12-yard out route, those things all the time. And that is what McCarthy is great at. And so that is TJ Hawkinson right there. So, yeah, I'm with you.
I do think that that's so funny. That just reminds me back to our discussion about QB rankings. And
Mm,
I just can't help but think of Jalen Hurts with that because that's exactly where I
hmm
feel. I don't think Jalen Hurts is as gifted when it comes to deep passes, but he's a far better
hmm
short term and term passes.
Yep. Yep.
Um, yeah. So sometimes I think it's so funny how we rate quarterbacks, though. We get so obsessed with the how many yards did they throw for and
hmm
did they throw for enough touchdowns? I feel like the only stat that really, really, really matters is interceptions. That one has to be low, like in order to be able to.
That one is very important, yes, but I would give another one that not a lot of people think about, and that's sack avoidance.
Mm,
Because if you're taking too many sacks, Sam Darnold was bad at that. That sets you back to like 3rd and 21, and that's in a basically a guaranteed punt. So I would say interceptions are number one, but a close second is how good are you at maneuvering the pocket, avoiding sacks.
yeah, I guess the hard part I just get with that one is I feel like different sites will rate sacks differently.
That's true. That
And
is
so
true.
that's why, but I do get what you're saying. It's not that it doesn't matter. It's just there have been times I've looked at Pro Football Focus and they'll say that a quarterback was responsible for X amount of sacks. And I'll go back and
Mm-hmm.
watch the game film from what they were talking about, think, I mean, that offensive lineman let that defensive lineman by so fast. Um,
Mm-hmm.
the other part too that drives me nuts. We talked about this back to the Super Bowl. It's been a while, but I'm still an avid person. It doesn't matter if the offensive lineman followed through with the right call. You better block somebody. Not blocking anyone is not an acceptable answer. If your answer is, well, it's not what I was supposed to block, I'm sorry. That's not good enough for me. Um,
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I would say as long as you don't give up your assignment, like if your assignment is in this vicinity and there's nobody there,
mhm,
yes, go help out someone to your left, but don't ignore your assignment because there could be a looper coming around right where you were.
right.
So, I agree to an extent what you're saying.
Yeah, I guess the part I just get frustrated about is that let me give an example. If there's a scheme where, or there's a play where the offensive tackle and tight end are on one side and the defensive end's there, the defensive end's going to the right, not coming in. The offensive lineman has nobody, and instead
Hmm.
of helping the defensive end or offensive or tight end potentially, they're ignoring it and completely leaving the tight end alone. I think that is
That is really bad, yes, because tight ends cannot block those elite edge rushers.
well, it's risky to assume that. And if there's no one there,
Hmm.
then you should automatically be thinking, I probably got to worry about that defensive end. Like I
Hmm.
understand there's an important element of trust. Anyway, that's a deeper conversation. It's just
Those are
sometimes I
fun
think
conversations.
sometimes I think players subconsciously say, I did my job check. And
Yep.
that's not how you got to operate as an offensive lineman. You always
Hmm.
have to be looking for work. You always have to be looking for someone to take care of. Because if you
Yep.
don't, someone's going to let up. Someone's
Go
going to have
punch
a
somebody.
mismatch. Yeah,
Go punch somebody. Just do something.
yeah. But I mean, I hear you. If you're completely facing the wrong way because of the call, that's one thing. But I'm just saying, if you
Hmm.
see it and ignore it because you're like another person's got it, I I don't like
Yeah,
that strategy. That's a no go for me.
hmm
So
I hear
I'll get off my soapbox, Andrew.
you.
Um, oh, we got to talk about this. Have you been following, Andrew, the NFLPA controversy stuff?
A little bit. I've read some articles.
I, it's just crazy, man. I sent you one
Hmm.
the other day that ESPN put out. That was honestly such a good read. Um, just crazy. The fallout with um, Howell and the NFLPA and their setup. But
Hmm.
goodness, just what a hot mess right now things are for the NFLPA. It looks so
Yeah.
disorganized.
Yes, the leader of the Players Association backing the players is in such a deep controversy. Why do you think the players are always messing up? Because the leader of their union is messing up. Come on now. Come on now.
Uh, yeah, it was just crazy. And I love how the report brought up um, internal documents for his trip to the strip club, both in Miami and in Atlanta. It's like, oh, dude, this is just. Here's
Mm,
my opinions, Andrew, on this issue. You don't resign unless you got a reason to resign.
100%. He's caught red-handed and he has no way out other than
Um,
saying, "Oh, I quit."
it honestly just kind of reminds me of the Coldplay CEO,
Oh,
the astronomer CEO.
that was
You know, I
funny.
just I just feel like it's that equivalent. Like it's that. By the way, that has been its own adventure to follow. And wow, what an
The
interesting
memes
story
coming
that
from
is.
that, it
Oh,
just was just glorious.
Andrew, if you have not seen it, I'm also a huge Phillies fan. The Phillies mocked the situation, and it is
Okay.
worth the watch. It is worth the
Okay.
watch. Um, but it's crazy what's going on right now.
Hmm.
But yeah, but back to what we were talking about with the NFLPA. It's just it, there's just so much there, man. And the fact that there's a report out there that confirms that he sealed evidence indicating that there was an effort to collude. I thought that was so weird how that report phrased it. That there was, I think it was phrased as an effort to collude
Hmm.
on player salaries, which, um, man, it's crazy. Um, in fact, this is a kind of interesting. But I remember there was a report that came out a couple of years ago about this push to 18 games,
Hmm.
and um, that the NFLPA was already going in the mindset of it was going to happen and they just had to live with it. And Mike
Hmm.
Florio promise he's not the only guy I listen to. But he just did a great job of saying you never start in bargaining with the other side's going to get it. What are we going to get? You start with there's no way you're getting that unless you give us X. And
He's a lawyer, so that he's great at that kind of thing.
but it's interesting because this background with Howell makes it seem like makes me feel like he's a bit of a double agent. Like he's doing just enough. He might have been doing just enough to keep the NFLPA happy, but he's also trying to make the NFL happy.
Hmm.
And that's not your role. I don't know. It makes me question. It makes me question how
Hmm.
invested he's been in the success of the players and ensuring that they get what they need.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, it was interesting. Like the article also talked about other candidates that had, posseed for trying to become the head of the NFLPA, like Matt Schaub. Um, this is a side note, Andrew, but Matt Schaub was one of my favorite quarterbacks to follow outside of Philadelphia. He is
Hmm.
certainly not a great quarterback, but he was a fun quarterback when he was with the Houston Texans. Him and Andre
Hmm.
Johnson hooked up
Hmm.
pretty regularly. So yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I thought that that'd be interesting to we are
Yeah.
aware of it. We know it's out there.
Yeah. And there's been no firm resolution yet, but like you said, when you resign, when you quit your job, when you're under investigation, that's kind of saying something.
Well, it's just like it's just your way, I think, of trying to say, hopefully this mitigates the damage. Hopefully it won't be as
Hmm.
bad. Hopefully they're not going to catch me fully. Maybe they'll
Hmm.
go away. Uh, yeah, I some people are funny, man. I don't get it.
Yep.
Like with that Coldplay CEO situation, like how did you think this was going to end?
I don't know. I don't think
How
people
did
think things through. They don't use
I
their
just
brains.
I just don't see the happy ending. I don't see the rainbow. And
Hmm.
maybe it's something enjoyable while you're doing it, but by the end of the day, you're going to have to pay for it. Someone's going to find out. The likelihood,
Yep.
especially in today's day and age, with how easy it is to post videos and
Yep.
stories.
Everyone has internet and a camcorder in their pocket.
Yeah, man,
Everyone.
it's bizarre. It's bizarre. Um, so that'll be interesting to follow. Um,
Yep.
yeah, but I know we're kind of getting close on time here, Andrew. But any notes you wanted to talk about from training camp? We finally have gotten there. It is
We've
time for training
started.
camp.
We've started, yes. Minnesota had their first practice yesterday, and it was just to reporters, of course, not the fans. I think fans get to see it on Saturday, I want to say. I think it's
Hmm.
Saturday. But yeah, just some clips I've seen. Of course, they're highlighting McCarthy, and he, I just can't get the whole notion that he had an average or weak arm because he has zip on that ball. I mean, that ball is just getting out of there quick, great trajectory, and boom, getting to the receiver immediately. If anything, he has to work on those touch passes where you don't need to fire a laser in there because he has a cannon. And I do not get where all those reports were that he had a weak arm. That's just false, fake news, as it were. But yeah, it's just great to see everyone out there. Um, they showed a really good deep pass to Addison that was right on the money. I was like, that's awesome. But of course, these are you know, just like one-on-one drills or like seven
Hmm.
on sevens without pads. You can't truly take something from that. I'm trying not to get too excited when I see those videos because it's designed for the offense to win. When you get the pads on, different story. That's designed to see who's better. But right now, it's kind of on the offensive end. But I did hear that with the Flores defense, I didn't hear that McCarthy threw any, but I did hear that both Sam Howell and our other backup, Brett Rippon, threw pick sixes in their first like 7-on-7 scrimmage. I was like, all right. And it was to our starters too, which was interesting. It was AVG, Van Ginkel, and it was who was the other guy? I can't remember. It was one of our corners. But yeah, they both them threw pick sixes. I thought it was kind of funny. Um, but yeah, it's really good to see. We had our first practice, and it's go time. It's go time, baby. I love it. It's here. It's finally here.
It's certainly one of my favorite parts. I love listening to the
Hmm.
breakdowns of how players are doing. Eagles
Hmm.
got interesting news on Monday. Uh, I think it was Monday, might have been Tuesday, that Jahad Campbell, the first round pick that they got, is ahead of
Hmm.
schedule.
That's
Um,
good. That's
he's
good.
he's playing in practice right now.
Him healthy is a, at least at Alabama, is a difference making linebacker. That was a great pick. Typical Eagles pick at the end of the round. Player people passed on because of X, Y, and Z, and they just get great value with. And if he can show that he can stay healthy, he will be a starter for you guys for a long time. He is a phenomenal linebacker.
Yeah, I mean, definitely very happy about it. I feel pretty good about the
Hmm.
future for the Eagles. Um, Interested to see how that goes. Still interested to see how things go at the safety position. I think the
Hmm.
spots I'm watching the most closely right now are outside corner. I
Mm.
still think there's a chance that, they let Slay walk.
Yep.
You have Rogers
Yep.
gone. Their plan is to try to put Keely Ringo in at cornerback. I'm not sure about that. He's a guy that has a ton of
Mm.
potential, but he lacks discipline.
Mm.
Um, so
Hmm.
he has been well known for getting a lot of pass interference calls, both at the college level and his limited time in the NFL. So that's the one
Hmm.
part. But the other part was, as I was listening to several podcasts, and one of them talked about how he got blown by like a third string wide receiver,
Mm. That's not great.
which which is not good. He's not off to a good start. So I
Yeah.
guess my antennas are up for maybe
Hmm.
there's going to be a trade um, on the horizon for Philly. Maybe they're going to look somewhere else to see if they can
Hmm.
strengthen that position because their other option is a Dory Jackson. And no offense to Dory, he's fine, but he's not. I don't think
Yeah.
he's a starting corner. I think he came in to take the role uh, that Rodgers had. That kind of like filler in, do
Hmm.
just enough. I would think Rodgers is better. In fact, I still really wanted the Eagles to sign Rodgers to a new deal, bring him back. Fortunately, that didn't happen. The other part that's interesting that I'm following is the defensive end positions. What's going to happen?
Yeah. Yeah. Because you
Nolan
guys
Smith is,
lost Sweat and yeah.
and Brandon Graham.
Grant.
Um,
Yep. That was the other one. Yep.
so I'm interested to see who's going to take that over the rules or for those positions because Jalex Hunt is the
Hmm.
I think hopeful. Nolan Smith is for sure. He's just got a tricep injury, so I think that's what's holding him back right now. But Hunt and then Aziz Ojolari is the other person they're hoping for. Josh Uche, I think I don't know if you know much about him, Andrew, but
Yeah. I think he was with the Patriots. So
yeah, he was with the Patriots, the
he's fine.
Chiefs.
Hmm.
I think it's crazy to think that you could expect to get good value out of him. The one part that was interesting, and I did just remember this, is the Eagles um, they signed a defensive lineman this week. Yes, from the Browns, and it was oh man, Agbonya Okoronkwo. It's a crazy name, but he's
Oh,
coming.
yeah. Yeah.
He's coming from the
Hmm.
Browns, and he's had 7.5 sacks over 2 games or 2 seasons. I think it's a good pickup move. I like it. Agbo is probably going to be what I call him because ain't no way I'm going to remember how to pronounce that name at least for the next three
Oh,
weeks.
Concro.
So, but yeah, I'm interested to see how he's going to do. I think it's a good pickup for
Hmm.
Philly, so that was a good
Hmm.
move. Um, but yeah, we'll see how that pans out for Philly. So watching the defensive end positions, watching the
Hmm.
cornerback position. Um, I am still sad, Andrew, over the fact that CJ Johnson is gone. Um,
Hmm.
just
Hmm.
such a major
That's gonna
bummer.
hurt. Yeah. But your
So
safety from Texas, I have all the faith in the world in him
I
because
really hope he's good. I
because I've heard a lot of reports because Minnesota, there were at least the podcasts and the people I listened to really were wanting them to draft him in the third round because we didn't have a second round pick because
mhm.
we need some safety depth with, Bynum moving on. And so there was a lot of scattering reports on him and a lot of good things about him. So I have a lot of faith in him just from what I've heard.
Well, my fingers are crossed, man.
Yeah.
We need him to perform at a high level.
hmm
Um,
Yeah. And I would say that for Minnesota, I'm kind of keeping an eye on very similar things to what you want for the Eagles. Because for Minnesota, of course, with Bynum leaving, I have faith in his backup Theo Jackson, but he has to perform. It's going to be on him. He's going to be our starter now because we usually run three safeties with Harris Smith, and with Metellus being kind of our everywhere guy, and he is not re-signed yet. He's on the last year of his deal, so that contract is still being discussed. But the team has such a team dynamic that that is not a distraction. He is at the facility. He is working out. He is
mm,
there. He is present. He's just still working on getting an extension. And his extension's interesting because he's not a safety. And he probably doesn't want to be paid as a safety because he plays inside linebacker. He plays pass rusher, edge rusher. He plays corner. He plays everything. He's a Swiss Army knife. So the number is going to be interesting on that. But our third corner, I is big question mark because we have Byron Murphy and we truly believe in Isaiah Rodgers, which I know you do too. So he's going to be our two. But our third corner is up for grabs, completely up for grabs. We have Mekhi Blackman coming back from his torn ACL. He should be good to go, but he is still young. He played his rookie season, then he got hurt. So we don't know. Jeff Okuda has been showing some signs, but he's been a big bust his whole career so far with the Lions and the Falcons. But he's got talent. Can he put it together? We'll see. And then our on offense, seeing how good the O line is, and our third running back spot. I don't think our third running back to start the year is on the team right now. Because right now
really?
it's Ty Chandler, and he has not had the trust of the team his entire career with us. And the
Mm,
only reason he's still on the team is because he's a good return man. But we drafted and signed return men in the offseason. I think that's a sign that says, Ty, sorry, but he's going to be a cut during camp. And with how deep the running back class was, as far as the rookies go this past year, there's going to be some running backs that don't make rosters that are going to be available that Minnesota could just grab for free, basically. I truly think that's going to happen.
mm.
So I don't think the third running back is on Minnesota's team right now.
That will be
That's what I'm
interesting to
watching.
follow.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah, lots of good nuggets there. Um, yeah, I think the only real running back news I've heard lately was that um, Najee Harris might not be a full go because the Chargers just signed somebody, Naheem Hines. Uh, we'll
Yeah.
see how.
I don't
Well,
I don't know if that's a depth move or a concern about Harris, but we shall see. We shall see.
I don't think it's a
I'm I
coincidence that you have the eye injury and
I'd
then
be totally fine, selfishly if Harris didn't play because I want to draft Omarion Hampton as much as possible in fantasy this year because I love that kid. And it
yeah,
was
you haven't been shy about that.
I thought he was going to the Broncos, and I thought that'd been perfect. They ended up drafting RJ Harvey, which I like, but I'm not as in like with as Hampton. But if Hampton gets the full go and gets the most of the running back snaps on a team that wants to run the ball, mm, give me all that. Right now he's splitting with Harris, but if Harris has to miss some time, I'm not upset.
Well, it's from a fantasy football standpoint. If you ask Charger fans, we'll see how they feel. I don't know.
hmm
I,
That's
it's
that's
just
very true.
it's so
hmm
hit and miss on rookies. I don't know. There's some rookie running backs, they come out, they play lights out. Brees Hall, first year with the Jets, had a really
hmm
good season. Um, you just don't know what you're going to get. And it's good to be hopeful. It's good to be, but I mean, same thing back to the Steelers. We're on different sides somewhat about this, but I think they're
hmm
overestimating value there. So we'll see what happens. But
We'll see. We'll see.
um, you think the Vikings are going to pick someone for agency? They think they'll trade for somebody? Like towards the end of
I don't
August.
I don't think we'll have to trade for somebody because there's going to be so many players cut that shouldn't be. I mean, great example is the Broncos. They have like five running backs right now,
Mm,
and someone's not going to make the squad. Maybe it's a Samaje Perine. Samaje Perine would be a great third running back. Someone that knows how to play the game, block well. So I mean, there's going to be guys that are going to be cut that should be on rosters. So I don't think we'll have to trade, even though 2 years in a row we've traded for Cam Akers, but Cam Akers might not make the team because the Saints have a ton of running backs. So we'll see. I don't think we'll have to trade for somebody, but maybe.
yeah. Well, um, we'll see how it works out. Maybe you guys are going to be holding out for Miles Sanders.
He'd be a fine third running back as well.
He would be. He would be. That is another situation I'm going to be following as far as running back wise is
Hmm.
what's his ceiling? What's his what's his actual expectations for down in Dallas? But yeah, man, it's training camp time. All these stories are
It's
building up.
training game time. Hmm.
Uh,
And there's
I'm
going to be
so
injuries, unfortunately. So something we'll also have to be watching for.
yeah, absolutely. It takes just one injury and it changes the course of your season. So
Yep. Yep.
um, hopefully there won't be too many of those because that always sucks to start out the year with a
Hmm.
devastating injury for a team. Um,
Yes. Which is a good shout out to all. We talked about fantasy a little bit. All fantasy football people out there, never draft in July or early August. You don't want to be that team to drafts a running back or a receiver in the first round and then they tear their knee up in training camp or practices. Don't do it. Wait till right before the season starts.
yeah, I think the perfect time is that last Saturday in August.
Hmm.
That's the perfect time to consider when you want to do your draft. I mean, the real perfect time would be like Labor Day Monday. That's like the real perfect time because you
Hmm.
are about as close as you can be before you really have to start setting lineups. But,
Hmm.
I do realize that not everyone gets that holiday off. Some people got to work,
Yep.
but
Yep.
yeah, but man, so excited. So excited for fantasy football to come back.
Hmm. It's here. It's here.
Yeah, maybe at some point we should do a fantasy football draft together.
I think that'd be fun. Just some kind of mock draft here
I feel
live.
like you're going to
That'd be
use that
great.
against me though, Andrew. You're going to use it as intel for our fantasy football leagues that we play in.
And I could say the same thing for you. I think honestly we're both gonna kind of do 70% of what we normally would do. Like we're not gonna show our true cards.
Mm, mm. Still got to be competent. You can't be making
Right, right.
egregious moves.
Like the first few rounds is gonna be kind of obvious, but once you get down to like the ninth
Mm,
round and on, I think we're
mhm.
gonna kind of fake it a little bit. Like I don't want you to truly know who I got my eyes on as a sleeper.
Hey, as long as you don't draft kickers in the first 3 rounds like our friend from a year ago.
He ended up doing pretty well though, honestly.
I still can't believe that. Drafting 3 kickers in the first three
Uh-huh.
rounds and still pulling off a competent team. I mean, that's a true accomplishment. But
Yep.
that's got to wreck his chances in that league since that's a franchise league. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at that Dynasty League, and I have to admit, I don't know how, but and I don't want to be a homer, but my team is young and it is good. I'm missing like a legit second running back, and I don't see a hole on that team. I have Jaden Daniels. I have Bucky Irving as my first running back. Second running back needs help. I have Tyrone Tracy Jr. and Brian Robinson Jr. That's fine, but I could use help. I have Justin Jefferson, Garrett Wilson, Drake London, Rashee Rice as my receivers. All young guys, all studs. TJ Hawkins as my tight end. I like him next few years. They got the Vikings defense. Kickers are kickers. And I got a little bit of depth, not great depth, but a little bit of depth. So, but that starting lineup right there. All I'm missing is a second running back. So I don't know. Just saying.
Man, I'm just looking at my team. I'm so excited.
Yep.
Um,
I'll have to set that draft sometime because it's going to be just a rookie draft.
it pains me to admit this, Andrew, but I've got Dak Prescott on this team. But for the
It's not
record,
bad.
what happened was is he got released and I picked him up because I knew he was coming back next year because I figured I could potentially trade him.
And so this is part of the reason how I got my team as young as stacked as they were. Someone dropped Jaden Daniels in that league, and I picked him up. I was like, okay, thank you very much. Because I didn't draft well at quarterback because I waited, and then by the time I was about to pull the trigger on someone, they got picked up. I was like, oh man, so I waited longer, got picked up again. I ended up with like Anthony Richardson and Russell Wilson, and I'm like, no. And then Jaden Daniels got dropped. I was like, ooh, don't mind if I do.
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
gonna try to pull off a trade to get my boy JJ McCarthy on my team though. Someone I forgot who drafted him,
I
but
think
I'm gonna
that's
see what I can
Tanner. I
do.
think Tanner has him.
You think so? Okay, I'm gonna
Yeah,
see what I can do. I'm like, hey, I'll give you two first round picks for him. Come on, send him my
two
way.
first round picks.
That was a joke, but you know,
I don't know about that, Andrew. Your devotion to your man is pretty intense.
hey, I love
Yeah,
what I hear, and I'm gonna try to get him early before he starts showing out that he is
yeah,
legit.
it's Tanner. Tanner's the one that has him.
Okay,
So
what's his other
good luck.
quarterbacks?
Oh, I think he's going to be fine at quarterback. He's got Murray. Murray's fine for being a quarterback. And he's got Stroud.
Okay, okay, he doesn't really need McCarthy. Okay, okay,
I mean, go for it. See what
yep, yep.
happens.
hmm I like it. I like it. See what I can do.
Oh, cannot wait for this. We're gonna do that draft. That's gonna be so much fun. Oh
Yes,
man.
and I was looking, and I have like the ninth pick, I believe. That you have the 10th because you were just ahead of me in the rankings, and I was looking on like the average ranking of where these players are drafted, and I am just gonna be able to get one of the running backs I want. Like Genty's going one. That's I knew I wasn't getting him. That's gone. And I think Hampton's going two. I figure I wasn't getting him. He's gone. But I think RJ Harvey I have a chance at. But it's not a great chance. So I'm hoping that some people draft poorly ahead of me because I really need a running back. That's all I need. I don't need the rookie receivers, the quarterbacks. Y'all can have them. I just need one of those running backs.
You
Might
got
have
me
to see if I
thinking,
need to swing
Andrew.
a trade to trade up a little bit.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, we'll see what happens, man. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Yeah, it's a whole nother thing to think about. I'm excited though.
hmm
This is such a
Yep.
great time.
This is the time.
Um,
This
you
is
know
the
what we have to
time.
do, Andrew? Actually, now I'm thinking about this, is we have to do football picks every week.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
that's only fair, so we can go back and forth and we can help our
The
fans
actual
know.
games. Yep. Yep. Yep.
I
For
just want
sure.
I want you to know that I am back to back pick champion in my family for the past 2 years.
How deep of a pool is that?
It might only be 5 people, but out of 5 people, I came in first both years.
So my other podcast that I do, I did predict every game, and I have that written down. I need to see how I did. I think I was a little over 500, but not by much. So I literally picked every single game every single week. I'll have to go back and see how I did. But it was fun.
Yeah, we got to do it. We got to do it.
hmm
It, uh, you know, spoiler, I'm gonna win.
Okay.
Andrew's like, you're yeah, you be that
Okay.
confident, Lance. You're gonna be really sad. And we got to think about fun bets we can do. I'm gonna have to think about this. Like, we got to have like a season bet. Um, got to have some fun
Mm-hmm.
things for us to track and for our fans to
For
track
sure.
as we go along for the season. Like who wins the most games. Maybe we make some predictions for the year, and someone has to do something.
I like that. I like that. We'll figure something out.
Yeah. All right, man. This was fun. Good to
For
chat
sure.
again.
Yeah. Same with you. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us in this episode of the Gridiron Grind with Andrew and Lance. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff so we can grow this channel and continue to talk about our favorite pastime, football.
Thanks, everybody.